Hello, welcome. Now, I'm curious. If you could get new managers and supervisors up and running as amazing leaders in their first 90 days, would you be interested? If so, stick around because I'm Kelly and this is Transitional Leadership, where we help individuals and businesses implement leadership and career skill development to foster an even greater impact. And there is a way to set brand new leaders up for success in their first quarter managing people. Now, before you think, no, not in reality, I want you to hang out with me for just a second. I have a couple of questions for you that I would love for you to just jot down some answers to or think through them in your head. How have you trained your leaders in the past? Has it been mentoring, sort of on the job training, sit, watch while I do type of training? Maybe you have some PDFs, maybe you have some processes that you've directed them to. Sometimes when I talk to organizations, they say, well, we do an orientation with HR where they show them where the toolkit is and all of the resources that they need. Does that sound more like you? Whatever it is, whatever you thought of when you think of how you typically train your leaders, I'm curious, are you getting the results that you want? I know that can be kind of a tough question. Typically, when I ask this of business leaders, I get answers like, I think so. They know what's going on. Their teams love them. Are those the results that you're driving for? The fact that you have to think through it like that, the fact that your voice gets a little bit slower when you're answering a very simple yes or no question might be telling. It might be an indication that there isn't a lot of clarity around what you expect of those leaders. Let me ask it a little bit differently. Are you getting the results you want in sales? I bet you could answer that one straight out of the gate, right? It's a clear yes or no. You know what the expectations are and you know if people are meeting them. Now, I have one more question for you. Think of the best example of a successful new leader that you had. What made that time different? What made that person feel like a success? Maybe it's that they entered at a time that there was really one initiative going on, and that was all they needed to worry about was making sure that this one thing happened. Maybe it's that they were promoted within the organization. So they already had these great connections throughout other departments, and they really had an overall perspective of what was going on in the organization. Or maybe they were a new hire from another organization that had a formal leader development program. And so you really only needed to teach them the technical skills or get them involved in your culture and not have to worry about leadership development on its own. But if you could have leaders of all levels hitting the ground, truly running, meeting all of the goals, and creating lasting relationships within the organization, you would want to push that forward, right? Now, there is a way that you can have a clear and easy process with predictable results that support your goals and actually have firm goals developed for your leaders themselves. And it's all supported by a culture of openness and innovation. Let's just go to the facts, right? When people learn through application, they retain 95% of what they've learned. That's about 25% more on average than passive learning. And what that would mean for you is your leaders will work to lead in their daily interactions rather than just understanding how the books say that you're supposed to work. And that real value is your leaders will have a positive influence on their team from day one and for years to come after that. I want to tell you a little story about John. John might fall into the camp of one of those really successful leaders that you could have been envisioning a few minutes ago. So he was coming into his very first leadership role, and it was during open enrollment, for the benefits and everything like that. His team was not thrilled with how open enrollment had changed that year, and they were tossing up every question and conflict and issue with the benefits that they could come up with. John's first reaction, like a lot of leaders, was sort of to run and hide, especially since he had just gone through the benefits himself for the first time, being a new leader in that organization. Instead, he and I focused on connecting with the team. So he set up open doors, meetings, lunch and learn, so that he could really listen and get curious about everything that they were seeing and how they were feeling about it. He provided as much clarity as he could. And then he reached out to the experts and provided the processes where they were available to him. If he didn't know the answer, he found someone who did. He also empowered them to do their own research. So just because they maybe didn't like how things were looking at their organization or in comparison to last year, how did they truly line up against other benefits in the industry or in the area? Where the other leaders were running and hiding, avoiding and deflecting all of the questions, John was welcoming them, and he was presented openly the value to the company of these benefits and the value to the employees. Now, having leaders who can handle that sort of conflict with confidence, even in only their first few weeks, that would be something that you would want, right? Now, I know that a lot of organizations go back to the resources, like I said. We have processes, people just need to follow them. We have PDFs that they just need to look at. And I totally get it. Those resources, those processes, having those built out are a great start. But are they being used on a consistent basis? And even if they are, do your employees use them in a way to make their work more efficient? Having the PDFs is amazing. Like I said, having those to refer back to is a great start, but it's only the beginning. It checks the box. And that's not how we want our leaders to react and what we want to expect of them, right? Just checking the box. We want them to fully understand and be invested in what we need in our organization. So they need more than that. We have to set that example. We have to set that standard, right? They need the guidance to understand what or who to utilize in which situation, not just a menu of PDF documents that may or may not work for them. They need clear expectations to know what they are working toward, whether it's hiring a new employee, checking in on the progress of different goals. They need to know exactly what that expectation is for them. They need an active network across all the departments so that they can fully understand and lead toward holistic solutions. Imagine what it would be like if your folks in HR really understood and supported sales. And if your people in sales really understood and supported everybody in customer service. If there was this full baseline of cooperation and that we are all working towards the same goals, how much different would that be? And they need to be empowered to get out there and start taking action from day one. Too often we see that the new leader is set up as like a co-pilot to their boss or to a more senior peer of theirs, and they're just watching to see what sort of interactions they do. Sometimes it's helpful to learn from a mentor, but not if you have the full breadth of what leadership development could be for them. Investing in leadership is one of the 3 things that set apart great organizations, because you get to focus your energy in developing the business while your leaders develop the teams. So the real value there is that your leadership pipeline is strong, making you not only a great place to work, but giving you one arm of the company that you don't actually need to worry about. Harvard Business Review says that the best companies invest aggressively in three areas. Wonder if you can guess what they are. Game-changing capabilities. So, what can you pour into and invest that is going to make your capabilities stand out? Industry differentiators. How can you be different and cause yourself to set apart from all of your other competitors? And next generation leadership. That's how important it is. So, I have to ask you, last question, I promise. Do you want to see results in your leaders in their first quarter? Do you want to be set apart as a great organization? The key to the castle is ensuring that there is clarity, connection, and empowerment for every leader that comes through your doors. If you were listening to John's story, I guarantee you can pick those three out. If you aren't sure, go back, rewatch the video. It's all there. You can click the link and read the blog post, and it goes in a little bit deeper on each one of those aspects: the clarity, the connection, and the empowerment. And if you have a specific question about developing your leaders, I want you to click the link below so that we can connect, and I would be happy to help you. We can set up some time to talk. All right, with that, I hope that this was beneficial for you. I hope that learning more about John's story can help you set up a program for yourselves. And again, I am always here to help if there are questions. Like and share this video if you think it would be helpful for a friend, and we will talk soon.